Hi there, I'm Ben and welcome to part 2 of my full platinum walkthrough for A Plague Tale Requiem. That sounded weird the way I said that, but never mind. Right, so picking up at the very start of chapter 2, so where we left off at the end of the previous video was at the end of chapter 1. So it just goes straight into it. I'm going to skip the cutscene because I don't keep them in. And then we're going to do, chapter 2, which is, it starts off fairly slow like the previous chapter was. It's just a bit of running around. Now in the previous video I did say that skills start in chapter 3. I just want to correct this. They actually start in this one, at the end of this one. What I was thinking of was the crafting aspect of things. That starts later on. So yeah, in this one we're actually going to start on the skills, and I'm going to go through that when we get to that point. And hopefully we'll make it a lot more straightforward than it was in my first platinum run anyway, because it is a bit confusing, the skills, the way they sort of work. It just doesn't really make any sense. So yeah, there's no specific trophy for this chapter. There's obviously the one for completing the chapter, but there isn't one you need to watch out for. There are 2 souvenirs, so we're going to be getting the first 2 of those. We're also getting the first flower, so there's 5 flowers and 7 feathers that make up the Hugo's collectible side of things. They're actually together in the menu, but they are separate trophies. And then yeah, we're just going to be getting, you know, a couple of other things. Knives specifically. Knives in this game work as weapons and keys, so we need them more for keys than we need them as weapons, so we'll be getting some of those. I'll be putting those in the top corner. Yeah, so start off at the market. Obviously go around, have a look around. It's a pretty nice looking game, so have a wander around, speak to people. But to carry on, we're just going to be doing this as quickly as possible. Go to the flower shop here, speak to the woman, and then you'll see that the people on the left moved, and we can now go through. And then we're going to go down to the right hand side here, and this is where we're going to get souvenir number 1. This is best player. They're more memories. The souvenirs are kind of memories more than a physical object. So we just need to wait for him to stop talking. Then we're going to do triangle. And we've got 4 pots, and we're just going to chuck them. Of these makeshift castles here. So you've thrown pots in this game already, so you know how to do that. So yeah, just aim for the bottom and hit them. I don't know how you could fail this. Maybe you could somehow. If you do, let me know, because I'd be interested to know how you do fail this. But yeah, I mean, I didn't even hit that one properly. It's quite hard to hit that one properly because it's long rather than tall. And then, yep, knock that final one down. And he'll say that you were the best player that we had today or something like that. And you'll see on the best player of the day. And on the right hand side, you're going to get there the souvenir, best player. And then there you go, you can go in and keep track of them. 21. They do appear in order, so if you do have a space in between 2, then you have missed one. But again, you can go into chapter select later on. The chapter select is actually quite good in this game, because it's not just chapter select, it's chapters within chapter select, if that makes sense. You can actually go to all different encounters. It's broken down quite well, which is nice. Not a lot of games do that. We're done with the market now, so we're just going to be heading up to the house. Again, this one is slow to start. A bit of a slow one, but it's a heavy story-based game, so yeah, it can be expected. It's good. It means you actually get to know the characters for once in a game. Not for once, but a lot of games do rush through this sort of thing. So yeah, you have to come over here, unfortunately, and pick Hugo up. I'm going to skip this because you do have to stand here for quite a while with him on your shoulders, but eventually she'll say, right, well, let's go. And then you can walk off. Annoyingly, at a slow pace, so yeah, this is going to take a while just to get around this corner, but you do put him down in a minute. And once we get to the house at the top, that's when we're actually going to start a bit more. We're going to switch from Hugo to Lucas, so Hugo will be in the house. So yeah, when you get around to this part here, around this tree, yeah, you'll put him down at this point.
Let's pick up the pace.
Yes, I can't wait to see the house. I wonder how big it is.
I just hope they have real beds.
I hope I
There's nothing to miss collectible, not collectible wise, but just item-wise, there's nothing here at all. So if you're not bothered about looking around, then don't worry about it. Just run to the top. And you'll see Lucas for a pretty nice view, actually. Although nobody does mention, they say, oh, this is an amazing view. Oh, it could be home. And, oh, it's amazing. But nobody's mentioned that fire off in the distance there behind the hill. Like, that's normal. Yeah, we're just going to ignore that. Yeah, it's perfect around here. I presume that's the village we were in chapter 1. What else could it be? That's why they've not mentioned it, I suppose. But I guess we're not mentioning that. And then it's going to make us slow walk up to the door.
It looks quiet.
And it's less hot here.
It's nice.
And you'll need to double triangle here. So make sure that you're ready to go in. And then you go in. I'm going to get a cutscene. I'm going to skip that because we don't need to see that. And then we'll... yeah, it's back. So yeah, that's why we're not with Hugo anymore. Because it's back. The macula. The Mac is back. So things do move a bit quicker when we don't have Hugo with us, which is good. But yeah, we're still not into it yet. Still going slowly through the village. So basically, what we've just done, we're going to go all the way back down again.
Why hasn't Vodan shown up already?
I think he's just being discreet.
Slightly different path though this time.
Someone must know about him. Let's ask around.
So we're even going to speak to the same people again. I guess that's why they pointed her out, the florist. So we're going to speak to.
Hello.
So you'll speak to the soldier here. Automatically stop here.
I've heard of a Sir Vaudin, not a magister. Try the marketplace. There's a couple of florists there. I think they deal with him from time to time.
Thank you.
I didn't realise it. Yeah, I was just going to say I didn't realise it lasted that long. Otherwise, I would have cut it. It's not too bad.
Good. That's a start.
I should have known.
Yeah, so go back round this side of the marketplace here. That's where she is.
Forest earlier. It's somewhere around this marketplace.
We're just going to briefly talk to her. She's going to say that it's your husband, her husband that you want, and he's just on the other side of the market. We'll go speak to him, and then we'll actually start moving forward to places we haven't been, and yeah, things get a bit more interesting, let's say. The more wrong things go, the more interesting they get. It seems.
Let's hope he tells us.
He will.
And yep, speak to him,
Excuse
and
me,
then
sir.
we can move on.
Sent us?
There are choppy bits of frame rate in here, yes,
It's not for her.
and it doesn't run. I think it's running at 30 frames. It may have been patched. I don't know whenever you're using this guide. But I've seen people leaving this with like zeros and ones because of frame rate. Really? I mean, all that hard work people put into this game, and yeah, they might not have optimized it right. Who knows why they haven't?
Let's not waste time.
I don't know. But I mean, it still runs fine. It's fine. Is it really a 0 or a 1 because you're not getting your 60 frames? Anyway, yeah, once you speak to him and go down here and actually get into some of the good stuff.
Slum. The order's not poor, so what would a magister be doing here?
Probably hiding.
Probably.
Amicia, that symbol on the wall.
So yeah, the symbol here, that's the symbol we're always looking out for.
The arena is off limits.
That's the order.
Why is that?
Because the Count of Provence said so.
They do connect two things. I'm not going to mention what it is yet, the way the order connects to something else later on.
We'll go around the arena.
And it's... I don't know why they chose that.
Now's not the
I'm saying I can't really say now because it's a spoiler.
You're right.
But yeah, I will mention it. It's later on.
Yes.
Something that the order has sort of as a symbol, apart from those 3 circles, or what those 3 circles kind of denote. It's a weird choice that they did that. Anyway, so if you played this through already, you'll know what I mean. So yeah, we're going to go through the door. There's a little bit of cutscene there,
Poor.
They must be from
and then we'll carry on. Still fairly slow, but we're getting towards stuff. There's dead people, which is I was going to say it's good. It's not good. It does mean we're moving towards a bit of action here, though.
Let's get in then.
Symbols there again.
This will lead to him.
Yes.
We actually have something to do now. So we're going to push this cart.
See a way to climb up.
That's exciting.
I'll get it.
Yeah, the carts don't really move. If you ever try to push a cart like this in real life, they don't skid around corners when they just have wooden wheels like that.
It means
But I suppose it has to
Maybe
make it
not.
easier to move it around.
A sick person could have brought it inside the city. People. Shh. What now?
Okay, and this is where you find out that you can't kill soldiers with helmets on. I'm sure, correct me if I'm wrong, that in the first game you could double hit enemies with helmets on. I guess they have chin straps now or something. I don't know. I'm sure in the first game when you fired once, it knocked the helmet off. Go again. Then you killed them. I'm sure that was the case. Otherwise I dreamt it. Anyway. Yeah, this is a stealth section now. We are not getting the skills at this point, so this bit's fine. I'm going to throw, so I'm going to drop down, pick up that pot, just so we have the pots. That's all. I'm not putting those in the top corner. Pots and crafting materials. I'm not going to put in the top because we'll get more than enough on this difficulty. And then just keep an eye out on the left, make sure he's not there. There's another pot here to the left. Always just make sure he's stocked up. So if you see something, just grab it, even if I don't. Because you might play the game slightly differently to me. I might not have the same. So there's a guy in the distance off there. So if you come around here, there's another guy facing this way. So you can throw into this room, throw another stone. He'll hear that. Now, as you go up these stairs here, if you've timed it differently, or you're running a bit behind or ahead, then this guy might be facing towards you. Just watch out. Here he is. There, he walks towards us. This sort of balcony bit, so he might spot you. If you just kind of don't run, just keep moving, he will more than likely not get alerted. But if he does get alerted and start running after you, you can't just run through the door. Unfortunately, you have to lose him. But don't worry, you don't need to be quiet specifically for skills or anything here. That one, it's just a bit of a tutorial. That's gross. Could you imagine how dense that... I know that they choke and they say, oh, it smells or whatever. Could you imagine how dense that is? There can't be any oxygen there. I can't even imagine what it'd be like. So, yep, slingshot that down. And this is grim, really, isn't it? We're going to push this cage of dead people. I don't know why they keep the dead people in cages. I guess so we can see how gross it is.
It's still going on in Requiem. It's already spreading.
yes, but they
And
would
we'll
have
push it down.
We wouldn't have
You wouldn't want to eat that pig, would you? Knowing what it's been eating. Not that I do anyway, but anyway.
Let's go, quick.
There's so many dead already. Like it's one step
And this is where the first knife is. You can't miss this one, but I've just put it up there anyway.
I think they were keeping count.
So just grab this. So again, knives are for basically one-shotting enemies, so you can sneak up on them and use a knife. You can also stun them and then use the knife. Or most importantly, knives are keys for the secret chests, which will appear later on in other chapters. None in this one. So you'll always want to have a knife. So you can use, and I will use a knife to sort of prove a point in this video. To kill enemies, but once we have started collecting secret chests, then always make sure you have a knife. Do not use them on enemies. But for now,
Look over there.
you're fine to use it in this one. I'm going to pick up another 2 knives. So this is the first encounter where skills come into it. At the end of this encounter, these skills will appear, so I'll be able to show you. So I'm going to do this a specific way. So I said there's 3 types of skills. There's the quiet way, where you don't kill anyone. There's the loud way, where you kill everyone. And then there's supposed to be the opportunistic way, which is supposed to be broken down in that you use rats or fire or whatever. And I thought the way it meant that was to... so we're just going to headshot the archer, make sure you get rid of him. Was to, take opportunity of what's in front of you, which is your crafting stuff, because that's where the upgrades come from. It all goes to the crafting on that level. But yeah, I'm just kind of proving a point. So I smashed that guy in the head with a rock, and then I have stabbed that guy there. So I did use a knife. Again, I said I was going to use it to prove a point. So that's two, pretty gruesome ways of killing someone. I wasn't exactly making an opportunity out of my surroundings. They were direct kills, both of them. But I have left the other two. I think there's two at the bottom, and there's just the one up here. I've sort of split them, so I've left half alive, killed half, basically. So that's kind of how we're working it, is that if we want that branch of skill, then it's half of the people killed. That's just how I'm going to work it. So you can throw here. I do want to keep this guy alive. That's why I'm doing it slowly. I'm just waiting for him. You can use the chest here, but he'll stand close to it. We want to get to that door in the back there. So you can just follow him normally through his path, and he'll be out the way for you. And yeah, so once you get through this, that encounter is done, closed off. You'll get marked on it. It's kind of like a mark. That's essentially what it is, an invisible mark for your performance. So Luke is going to say that you got better, and that's where the skills are going to come into it now. So you go to the skills menu. The top there, you got prudence, which is the silent one. Aggression, which is obviously aggression. Then you got opportunism, which is what we just got there. But I would say that was aggressive, right? That was, two direct kills. Yeah, but that's kind of how it works. Leave half alive, you'll get opportunism. Kill none, you'll get prudence. Kill them all, you'll get aggression. That's how we're working it. Now, you do want to aim for opportunism. I'm not saying that right. I know I'm not. It sounds weird as I'm saying it. You want to aim for that one because it does have some good upgrades down its path. So, and it's one that you won't get during certain set pieces. During certain things, you have to kill everyone or you have to avoid everyone. They will automatically upgrade the other two. You do want to keep a balance. You don't want to fully upgrade one and be left with two empty ones. Not that they would be able to do that. But yeah, you want to keep a fine balance, but you want to kind of prioritize opportunism. Yeah. And that's how we're going to do it for the first few, just to get that one leveled up and out of the way, because it's the more difficult one to kind of balance. Right, so once we're done, we're going to go upstairs. We're going to speak to this woman here. She's going to unfortunately die. And this is Souvenir number 2. This is Be at Peace. So again, it's not specifically a thing. It's a moment in time. It's a memory. So I'm not sure why they're called souvenirs. Memory would have been a better thing. It's not really a souvenir. Oh, I saw this woman die once in a barn, and I've got this memory. I keep it as a souvenir. That's, yeah, anyway. Memory, or I don't know, just something. Souvenir seems a bit weird. Right, so yeah, nothing more to find in here. We're just going to leave. And yeah, then we're going to get introduced to the rats properly.
Oh Lord, it's a whole city.
The symbol.
Hell of a view out there.
He has to be.
Has to. Lucas
It does
Watts
look
is
good. I'll give them that. That
that's
skybox is good.
It's the order.
The clouds moving across
High
there.
Register would just live in a high tower, no?
Let's just get there.
So once you are able to press X, or cross as they now call it, or it's always been called that, you're going to get a cutscene. Eventually you'll be down. You basically drop down. This guy's going to get attacked, and then you will have to run from the rats. It's you're running towards the camera. It's fairly easy. You just got a few corners and then through a door, and then you're done. But yeah, that's the next thing after the cutscene. It's quite a long cutscene. And yeah, I was going to say, hold that door all you want, but there's some lattice work over there that they might get through. So if you've not played the first game and you're coming straight into this one, fire or just light in general makes the rats avoid you. So if you have light around, you can just walk through the rats freely. They will not bother you, and as long as you're stood within sort of a radius of a light source, you'll be absolutely fine. Think of the rats more as a liquid rather than specific beings trying to come and get you, entities. They're as one, as a liquid kind of thing.
This is so bad.
So you just push the liquid out of the way using the light. That's the easiest way to think about it.
My materials.
There was a pot off to the right hand side. We don't need one, so I'm not going getting it.
Please don't drop that torch.
But yeah, once you can't climb with this torch, so I know you'd get up on the wall and then you'd say, pass me the torch, I'll have the light while you come over. But no, we're going to do it this way, obviously, because they need to show us the next way to have a light source, which is sticks, which is roughly, I don't know, let's see if we can count it. What was that, 5 seconds or so. It's about 10 to 15 seconds they last for, not very long at all. As soon as you light something else, Amicia will drop it straight away, so you'll need to pick up another one. So yeah, it's quite about there, where that brazier is. There is about max distance where you can go with a stick.
For now.
So you can see it burning down, there's not much left. So yeah, it's about here is kind of max distance. We won't have much left on that one.
We can make it. We're making it.
And then we're going to light this one and throw it up at this brazier. And then we're going to use our sling. I will use this menu, mainly because I find it more comfortable to use that menu rather than... I do use the up and down on the D-pad now and again, but it's so you can see what I'm using as well, switching.
Higher ground. That's
So
better.
higher ground, that's better, sure is.
Take a breath.
Breathe fast. I don't know how long it's going to last.
Of course, things aren't going to be that easy.
Really? A beam?
It's
This
the
is a
only
pretty
way.
serious chunk of wood.
Right.
I'm not convinced. Does the wood break? Let's have a look if the wood actually breaks. So it's the... Yeah, that's a serious chunk of wood. There is no way that would break. But anyway, yeah, it'll be the platform that will break before that piece of wood. So now we need to save Lucas. So again, just push these rats back.
Stay calm. You're fine for now.
There are a few things later on that we use that are a bit Deus Ex-y. That sounds a weird way to say it. But, you know, they wouldn't really work. And we're kind of in the world of realism. I know we've got rats and there's a plague. I suppose it's all a metaphor if you really look at it that way. But, yeah, you'll see later on. It's a prism that we end up using. It's a bit... Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, throw a stick over, light the brazier, and throw a stick over for Lucas there.
That was horrible. Thank
And
you.
then we can carry on.
Giving me cold sweats.
So once he stops talking, we can carry on up here. Yeah, it's a magic stone that somebody has later on. And it allows us to make a light source from a distance.
Dan's plan about this.
It better be
I don't
a
know.
good-
I don't know. It's like they couldn't think of anything else. It's just
Oh,
a
no.
MacGuffin.
Coming down again?
We are.
It's a joke.
No. And
It didn't matter what it was, it just needed to make some light. Doesn't need to make sense. Right, carrying on. Neither do I, apparently. But yeah, carry on.
No rats.
No. But they
And then we're
came
going to
up
come
with
onto
the-
this big room.
these
And we're going to get
bodies.
introduced to crafting.
Careful.
So we do need to craft 100 things. That will, you know, in a few chapters' time, you'll do 100.
What is
No problem at all. There's an elephant there. If you can interact with that if you like, for a little bit of story, as it were, or information.
that smell?
I know. It's
I'm just going to run straight over here and use this to carry on.
crank.
Let's see what it does. I'm going to need you.
Sure. Wow.
Oh no.
So it's going to bring all of the rats in.
Look how many there are. We're stuck, Lucas.
So keep going all the way until it stops,
Look at the platform. The brazier. It looks big enough to light
which
the whole
is
room.
there. Yeah, there.
How do we set it
And then you can go left or
I
right.
don't know.
We have to do them both anyway, but if you're watching this, you're going to follow me more than likely.
Fine.
So in this one,
Rooms are open now. Maybe we'll find something.
you got animal carcasses. So whenever you see an animal carcass hanging like that, or a fish later on as well when we're by the sea,
In that chest.
the rats will go to it. They're attracted by it. So attracted to it, should I say. And they will stick to that, and you can actually walk past them pretty close, really. I wouldn't, test it, but it's quite close. You can actually go to the rats. They do climb in this game as well. If there's netting to the side, they'll climb to it.
Let's get to that chest.
They still look like they haven't eaten in a million years.
So that's kind of introducing you to that aspect, is
What's in it?
animal carcasses.
Bottles.
Yes, that's good. Very good. Come back.
And then we picked up some alcohol. I'm not going to be putting those things in the top corner, so alcohol and things like that, and all crafting materials, because it's going to be everywhere. And I won't be able to pick later on. I won't be able to pick, a lot of it up, because we will have it full all the time, pretty much. So
Let's check that other
yeah,
one.
just keep an eye out for it.
Yes.
I'll obviously tell you what I pick up as we do it,
The chest up there might
but I'm not
contain
going to put
more.
them in the top corner. They're not massively important. So come into the second room here, and then when you're at the top, hold L1 and get Lucas to interact with this. He's going to be the winch. We're here to get the sulfur this time round. And we need this cart over here.
Holding.
So he'll hold that until you tell him to let it go.
On your go.
So you need to look at him, L1, and then use triangle to stop, and then you can carry on pushing it at the bottom.
Faster. I'm worried about Hugo.
The tower's not that far. As soon as we find Vodal Hill.
We don't even know if he's in there. And with the rats and those mercenaries.
Hey. One thing at a time.
Yes. Good.
And then we're going to go in here and get some sulfur. So this is a medium chest. Usually in these medium chests you get pieces, so upgrade materials.
Now that is
They don't have any in these early ones because it's just for sulfur and things like that, and we've not been introduced to upgrading yet.
highly reactive.
We're just learning how to craft. So to craft, you go into your R1. So hold R1, go over to fire. So use left and right on the D-pad, and then just hold X to craft whatever you need. 6 at the moment is all we can hold. We'll upgrade the pouch later on so we can hold more, but always keep on top of it. So if you come to some resources and it says you can't pick them up, just make sure you're fully crafted, you're fully stocked up, should I say,
I think I've seen other
and see if you can pick them up. Don't leave anything behind. You will have plenty of stuff. There's loads of stuff in this game, especially on this difficulty. You won't run out.
Yes.
So if you do use a couple, usually every 2 I'll do one, because you craft them in 2s. So every time I've used 2, I'll craft another one. Yeah, so there I switched from. So if you're aiming down the sight there and use left and right on the D-pad, then Amicia will switch her ammo out, but now between stone and fire. And now we're going to use a pot with fire. So throw it in, and it's going to do this whole sort of sparkler thing there, and it's going to push the rats back from quite a big radius for a short amount of time. Does not stay long. And then later on we'll be able to upgrade those so they directly kill human enemies, which is, pretty powerful just to have grenades that we can craft. That's why they keep the pots to quite a low limit how many you can carry, because you can essentially make grenades. So interact with this one just so you know, so it pushes the game forward. Don't get stuck on the elephant though. I was trying to avoid the elephant, and I thought, no, Lucas has started dropping that down. Don't want to get crushed underneath. So yeah, don't use the pot. So she's about to throw the pot there. You can throw it using your hand, but don't waste your pots. Later on, now's not so much because there's quite a few lying around. So yeah, just craft. I did use 1 there, but yeah.
I'll find this photo.
There we go. Just make sure you're always stocked up.
I'm doing my best.
And we'll have to use a combination here of pot. See, I did run through the rats there. It's quite forgiving in that, if there's a light source about to happen, they'll run through you. So you'll get used to the rats. They might seem terrifying at first, like you die instantly if you walk into them, obviously. And but you are, it's quite forgiving. So just picked up some extra stuff there, not that we need it at this point.
Time to get that lift down and get the hell out of here.
There's a couple of pots here. You got one there, and there's one on the opposite shelf as well. Later on we'll actually have an upgrade that allows us to break things like pots and knives and other things that we can't necessarily pick up down into pieces, which is good. So I'm going to use this, so hold triangle to use it, and then let go once it's at the bottom and make a run for it.
Let's get to the lift! Quick!
Steady.
And we are nearly there,
How did we do this?
kind of.
With exceptional skills and resilience.
Just one more enemy encounter. It's quite a big one, but we're going to rush through it.
It's starting.
It's quite an easy one just to rush
Do you realise
through.
what that means?
I do. But we've been through this before.
You saw how they charged us.
This lift is taking longer than I remember. Probably should have cut this out. I do apologise, but here we are at the top now.
It's fine, Magister Verdun. With the order by our side, we won't have to face this alone anymore.
I really hope that you're right.
Go. So yeah, the next thing we're finding is a flower.
Don't stray from it.
Going to be Hugo's Mementos kind of thing. I forget the name of it.
We got a bit closer now.
If you're new here, you will get used to my horrendous memory, where I'll randomly forget somebody's name and then shout it out half an hour later. But yeah, just don't get old. Not that that's something you can do.
Let's just hurry.
This place actually seems
So linear path, follow it through, and then past this vegetable patch
a
is
vegetable
going to
garden.
be our first flower. So it was flowers throughout the whole of the first game, and it's going to be flowers, 5 flowers, and there's going to be 7 feathers in this
Hugo will
one.
love it. I'll keep it there.
So this is Arrowhead. You can actually switch these out later on,
Well, thank you. Let's keep going.
or you can switch it out now. You can unequip it if you wanted to. So you got, yeah, Hugo's collection there at the top, and you got souvenirs underneath now. So yeah, if you do X, you'll unequip it and won't have any flowers in your hair, but that's miserable. So why would you do that? No, you can switch them out later if you want. Little chest here, some extra stuff in. So yeah, always keep an eye out for, yeah, there, make some stuff. Flashing items. They're really obvious in this game, even on the higher difficulties, it still does it.
Provence hopes to deal with
Nope,
this
frame
mess,
rate's breaking down a bit there. Oh dear.
His army rules for him,
which doesn't prevent those mercenaries from wandering around.
and we thought the place was safe.
And then upstairs here is a knife, so pick this up. Just to make sure we're going to always make sure that we have a knife on us. So if we get to a secret chest that we can definitely open it. And we're going to pick up, I'm not actually going to pick up this knife in a moment, but I have still, you know, marked it. I'll let you know where it is. Just in case you want to use a knife in the encounter, make sure you go back and get it so you've got one. And then we're going to go into the encounter, and we're going to just run through this. So there's a couple of set pieces that happen that allow you to just push through this area quite quickly and unhindered. Otherwise, it can be a bit of, not a pain in the ass, but it's still pretty simple. But it's a lot easier than it should be by just running through it. So over here is a knife. If you need it, if you end up getting stuck and you have to kill a few enemies and you use a knife, you can go and pick up one there. So what I'm going to do from now on, before an encounter happens, I'm going to check this and we're going to see which one goes up, and then you can work against it. Make sure your same one goes up. It's not essential that it does, but just so you get an idea of how it works. Opportunism actually goes up during puzzle sections as well. It's very, very small. It's like less than 1 millimeter on the screen. It's tiny, the amount it goes up. So this first bit, I'm just running down here to the right hand side, and then I'm going to jump up here and then up here. So you will hear soldiers coming towards you. Just ignore them, run down to the right,
He really is in the tower.
and then I'm switching to rock because there's going to be an archer. He'll either be there or he'll be to the left. Quickly take him down. He doesn't have a helmet on, so that's fine. and they do drop materials as well. And then once you drop down here, we're going to go through the house. Just keep an eye out on where people are. It should be simple enough. Another one without a helmet down here. That's why we're coming down this side. Kill him inside. Nobody else will get alerted. And then here, the rats are going to appear. So you can just run to that building across. So make sure you're clear. And when the rats start, they'll ignore you and just run from the rats. So you can just run straight past them, up these stairs. And there's going to be an archer in this doorway. He's always here. And if you're quick, you can just quickly throw his head. So he spotted me. So I wasn't stealthy. I've brutally murdered 3 people with a rock. There's maybe 3 or 4 left on the left-hand side. There's one there. There's a few over there. So I'm just trying to figure out this. It's still not 100% how these skills level up. But we are going to get opportunism from doing it this way. So you can light both these braziers just to make sure you've got enough room. And then you need a pot. Just to make the rest of the way clear. And I'm going to go through the door. And that's that section pretty quickly done. Because we just ran through it basically when the rats appeared. So you're going to get a cutscene here. I'm going to skip this because we don't need to watch it. And then I'm going to show you what I got skill-wise. They do level up quite quickly. There aren't that many enemy encounters. So it does look like we're going to get through it pretty quickly. But yeah, we're not. There you go. So I got that, again, opportunism. I would say that was aggression, honestly. But yeah, ultimately I think it is down to how many people you kill. It doesn't matter how you kill them. Just that you leave some alive. Sort of half-ish. And that's what we're working off. Weird system. It should just be, I think it should have just been aggression and stealth. That would have been better, and you could have done it in a single playthrough. This is the reason we can't, because there's not enough encounters to fully upgrade all 3, and we need to upgrade all 3. So this is why we have to go into New Game Plus. Honestly, they should have just had the 2 and let us go into, not have to bother with New Game Plus. That would have been so much better, because we don't use them. It's kind of pointless. So I'm just standing here waiting for Lucas to stop talking, and then we're going to move this. You want this one. He says it looks like a Z. That looks like a 3 to me. And then we're going to hit this one. You want the one with the circle and the line through it. It might be a joined up Z. And this one you'll need to hit twice. You want the circle with the line, and then again twice to the circle and the snakes, or the 2 lines. And that's going to open it up, and that's it for this chapter. So once you go onto the stairs here, you're going to get a cutscene going to take over. You're going to go back to the house, and then the chapter's going to end. It's quite a long cutscene, 4 or 5 minutes, but at the end of that, you're going to get the Newcomers trophy, which is the chapter's trophy. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.